Now, affirmations are good. I believe in affirmations, but they have to have the belief. They have to be backed by belief. Okay. And so, yeah, good that you should bring that up, Susan. I'm glad that you had that epiphany. Yeah, I'm glad. And this is about changing and becoming who God created us to be, our ultimate greatness. That's what this is about. A lot of times you can make those little shifts and your business will just blow up from that. It's like, well, what did I do? It's not what you did, it's what you began to do. You began thinking differently, A lot of the learning that we're going to get in this in our time together is going to be unlearning. Okay, unlearning. All right, so we're here for another week. Who's having fun? Raise your hand if you're having fun. Okay, good. Because I know, it's about, real estate should be fun again, right, League Writer? We should make real estate fun again. And for a lot of you, it hasn't been so much fun. The market is starting to shift. And anybody feeling that market shift? Raise your hand if you're feeling it. Raise your hand if you're not feeling it yet. Like it's not even a thing where you are. You guys are all seeing it. So your inventory is starting to slow down. Some of your is your money slowing down? That's what I want to hear. Is the money slowing down? It is, right? Yeah. That's a factor for a lot of people. In fact, I'm really considering the idea of hosting a special webinar about what to do as the market shifts. How we have, because you do have to shift with the market. So important. You do have to shift with the market. If you don't shift with the market, you'll be shifted out of the market. And markets always shift. In fact, it should have shifted a lot sooner than now. Did anybody have a challenge with your assignment, with your homework assignment, creating the script? Anybody have any questions around that before we move forward? One of the and the reason I bring it up is because one of the things that I'm known to do is I'm known to kind of go a little bit fast with a lot of the material. I know there's a lot of things that I'm having you guys do, and there's a reason why I'm having you do them. A lot of times my students are like, Uncle Knolly, I need now money. Who knows what now money is? It's like, I need money now. And what I'm really teaching you is to build the foundation for the house, maybe for the first time, or maybe you built the foundation for your house a long time ago, but it needs some attention. So we're rebuilding the foundation. And once you have the foundation in place, that's going to set you up for success no matter what market you're facing. That's the reason why we're going through this 8-part series on creating your value proposition. And thank you so much for being here. I'm glad that you guys are here. So let's dig into it. First though, and by the way, what I'm realizing is that, last time I kept you guys over quite a bit. I didn't keep you. Well, I did keep you over. So I'm making a new commitment to keep within our time, because I know you guys have things to do, and it's okay. I've told myself, Knolly, it's okay if we don't cover all the material that week. It's like going, anybody ever been taking college courses? The curriculum is there. If you don't finish it this week, guess what? Next class is going to be there again. You're just going to keep going. So we have, I won't say we have all the time in the world, but we have time to really learn this the right way so that you can set yourself up to succeed from here on out. How many of you have gotten some good epiphanies and some good ahas in the month that we've been doing this so far, the time that you've been here? Okay, good. I'm seeing a lot of raised hands. Great. What challenges so the first time we talked about creating your top 10 list, and then we talked about you creating or get your Google account, so that Google business account, so that you can start getting reviews. Some of you are starting to get reviews for the first time in your career. People don't just naturally review you. You've got to ask for that third-party validation. It's so important. And these reviews that you're getting today are going to serve you a year from now, even 5-10 years from now. People will be looking up these reviews and saying, wow, Alessandra's got a great review from back in 2022. Golly, she's been in business a long time. And this is kind of the thing that will continue to carry your career. Now, last week we talked about creating your script for your video. Let's talk around that. Any challenges that you guys have had up until now with any of the assignments, any questions or anything like that, now's a good time to bring those up. You can either throw them in the chat, raise your hand to speak, or just unmute yourself.
This is Susan. I'll go first because this was a really big one for me. Last week when you asked us to, like you said, I'm going to call on you for some reviews. And at first I thought, what if he doesn't call him? And then I thought, if he does, because I really, and so I didn't raise my hand because I froze. I had to go back and look at the whole rest of the class because I was just terrified from there on out. This is where I live. This is the thing I most want to do is those online reviews because, as you know, Aunt Susan is writing, I have kids that call me Aunt Susan. I'm writing a series of books and I want to be Aunt Susan reading those books to them. Yeah. And so I just decided, okay, let me just freak out and get it over with. And then I said, it doesn't matter how I feel. I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Good for you.
So that was my big decision. The other thing I'm having the challenge with is this book because I'm reading it and it's riveting. But I want you to know that I'm not as nice a person on the inside as I am on the outside. Yeah. Because I say nice things, but I'm it's like the Southern bless your heart. I once had a client say to me, I don't have a heart. And I said, honey, I'm not really blessing it because, bless your heart is Southern for F you.
Right.
So most of the time, not always. So I'm really getting to see that my thoughts are things and I'm not getting the results I want because I'm doing and saying one thing and I'm thinking another. So correct. This is probably my hardest part so far.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing about our journey and by the way, this is the book of the month, Feel Free to Prosper by Marilyn Janae. It's a beautiful book. And our thoughts are things. Okay. Very important for us to understand this. A lot of people don't realize, Susan, that when God created us, he created us in Genesis. Scripture says God created man in his image. Okay. And actually it says they created. It's a plural. That's a whole nother study. But God created us in his image. Now, the word image is the word similitude. Okay. So we are created in the facsimile is another word that could be used. We were created in the facsimile of God. Okay. He created us like him, like himself. And he created us in his image. Okay. And so what that means is that there are things that God has given us. There are certain keys that we've been given that most people don't take advantage of. And when Christ came, he came to show not only did he come to live for us and die for us, but he also came to be an example for us of how we can live. Okay. And so it's, what is very clear in scripture, a lot of people don't catch this from scripture, but it's very clear that we are not judged on the things we do, although we are judged on those. More so, we're judged on the things that we're judged on our intention. We're judged on the intention of the heart. Okay. So in other words, you might do something, we've talked about this before, with an ill intention, or you might do something with a naive intention. You didn't mean any harm, and God doesn't judge you for it, even though the outcome may be really bad. Okay. So for example, you could, God forbid, run over a little kid, but it was rainy outside. You couldn't see, the kid ran out in the middle of the street. And I had a friend that this happened to, and you ended that individual's life on the planet. Okay. But now you could maliciously do that as well. And there's two separate things. And so when you set so what does that matter? What does it all mean? Well, when you set an intention, God said, let there be, and there was. And he said, it is very good. Okay. Well, when God created us in his image, he created us in his likeness, in his similitude, in a facsimile. So we are really carbon copies of God. A lot of people don't like to hear that, but when you can't deduce anything else when you actually study Genesis and what God actually created. He created little tiny versions of himself, and he called them Adam and he called them Eve, and that's you and me. Okay, now we're fallen. Okay, we fell, but we've also been redeemed. And what a lot of people don't realize is that there is a whole there's a multitude of blessings that we could and should be walking in that we're not. We're forsaking because we believe that we're still unredeemed is how we're living. So anyway, that's a whole, we're getting into theology and a lot of other study, but the reality is when you say something but you don't mean it, then you don't get the result. And that's the reason why people say, oh, I say my affirmations. But see, if your subconscious mind isn't on board with what you're saying, you're not ever going to get the result. You could say affirmations. Now, affirmations are good. I believe in affirmations, but they have to have the belief. They have to be backed by belief. Okay. And so, yeah, good that you should bring that up, Susan. I'm glad that you had that epiphany. Yeah, I'm glad. And this is about changing and becoming who God created us to be. You know, our ultimate greatness. That's what this is about. A lot of times you can make those little shifts and your business will just blow up from that. It's like, well, what did I do? It's not what you did, it's what you began to do. You began thinking differently, you know. A lot of the learning that we're going to get in this in our time together is going to be unlearning. Okay, unlearning. When Michelangelo sculpted the David, anybody ever been to Italy to see it? I think it's in Italy, right? The David sculpture. Anybody gone there to see it? Okay, yeah, Lee's been. Okay, Ursula's been. Susan's been. And maybe a few others have been. So they asked Michelangelo. They said, "Man, how did you create the David? How did you get that David out of it? It was just a block of marble." He said, "The David was already there." They said, "What do you mean?" He said, David was already there. All I did was remove all the obstructions so that you could see David. David was already there in that block of marble. I just removed everything that wasn't him, and it became clear to see. And that's what this is about. Your ultimate greatness, you're like, oh, I'm on this path to greatness. Greatness is already within you. You are already great. It's just a matter of us removing the obstructions so that your greatness can shine. The David is already there, okay? So very important. I'm glad you put us on a tangent there, Susan, but that's good. I'm glad you had that epiphany. Hopefully many others have that as well. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hey, I want to invite you out to Knolly Coaching Club. That's right. The Knolly Coaching Club is where I'm able to teach, train, and coach you every single week to your ultimate greatness. Now you can join for just $1. Go to knollycoaching.com and I'll see you on the inside.